Morning Year 5s, it's Friday once again, and it's time for our maths. We'll have a look at how it'll do now, and I think we're carrying on with statistics and table reading on our task today. Let's just have a little look. Yeah, so we're being given data. Can we answer the questions with data we've been given? So let's have a look at our do now, and you can get cracking. So percentages. Now, I know there's probably a few of us who are getting them, and there's probably quite a few of us who are still not quite confident with them. But remember my other trick. So if you get confused with find 10%, find 5%, take 10% off, double it to find 20%, blah, blah, blah. Don't forget the other way to do it, where you can do this with any percentage question. Find 1% of the amount you are finding and times it by the percent. So 66... if you've got 66 and divide it by 100, remember the decimal point is at the end of every number, becomes 0.66. Okay, now that is 1% because you've split 66 into 100 pieces. Remember at school we've got that 100 grid with 100 little squares, and one of those little squares was 1%. Well, that's exactly what you've just done with 66. That's now the number 66. Divided by 100, you've got 1%. You've got that tiny little bit there. Okay? Once you've got that 1%, you want 72% of them. So times it by 72. Remember, don't worry about the decimal yet. Don't need to worry about the zero yet. So, 6 times 2, 12. 6 times 2, 12, odd one is 13. 0 the hero. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 7 is 42, but add 4 is 46. Add it up, 2, 5, 7, 4. But remember, you've got two numbers after your decimal, because it's 0.66. So it's 47.52. There you go. This next one here, 14% of 212. Yes, you could find 10%, 1%, 5%, but let's do it like this today. So let's divide 212 into those 100 pieces. Okay, and we're going to find 1% of it. So if you divide that by 212 divided by 100, remember your decimal is there, becomes 2.12. So that tiny little square there becomes 2.12. Okay. So now we can do 2.12 times by, we want 14%. So again, we'll forget that decimal for a minute. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 4 is 8. Done with that one, so 0 the hero it. 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1, 2 times 1 is 2. Pretty simple calculation there. 8, 6, 9, 2. Remember, there was a decimal here. 2 digits after your decimal means there's 2 digits after your decimal in the answer. Oops. So the answer is 29.68. You can do that with anything. I know every single one of us can do long multiplication. So that might make percentages a little less worrying for some of you. 55% of £6.20. So with this one, you could do the same thing. You could divide it by 100, which would be 0.062, or you could halve it to get 50%, which, looking at this one, I would probably do actually. So 50%, because otherwise you'll have 0.0, you'll have quite a long decimal number. 50%, well, that's easy, that's £3.10. I also want 5% though. Okay, so how do I make 5%? Well, can I get 10%, can't I? So 10% is 62. So that'd be 62p. So 5% is going to be half of that, which is 31p. So 55 is going to be £3.41. There you go. It really does depend on the percentage and the number you're working with. But if you're getting really, if this bit is making you panic, get used to doing this way. Just divide it by 100 and times by the percentage. The last percentage question today is actually one you could almost do this one mentally actually. 50% off all coats, 25% off all shoes. My coat was £34 and I bought 2 pairs of shoes. So my coat was £34, but there's 50% off all coats. So it was 34. Well, you just need to halve that. 50%'s half, isn't it? I've not made that tricky by saying 55 or 53. So half of that. And you bought 2 pairs of shoes. So find half of 34 and take it off of 34, because remember it's off the price. 2 pairs of shoes is £22 each. So I bought 2, so that's 44. 25% is half of half, isn't it? So that's £44 because you've got 2 pairs of shoes. Half of 44 is 22. Half of 22 is 11. So if you take 11 off, you've got your answer. Okay? And then add them up. So it's probably one of the simpler ones with this. Your decimals, I want to try and make one from home. So can you give it to an adult? Maybe you've got a sibling who's a similar age, or maybe a bit older. You give them one. Do 5 or 6 numbers, mix them up by the decimals, percentages, fractions. But you've got to know the answer. So can you order them? Remember, the trick is try and keep the digits that are involved very similar. Okay. Let's have a look at our next ones. Oh, camera's moved. Just got a quick addition here. So we've got 34.66 add 14.09. Some of you might be thinking, oh, why is this on my do now in year 5? I didn't. You've got to do it, haven't you? Got to make sure our skills are still here. It's also about speed. 15, 6, 7, decimal point, 4, 4 is 8, that's 4, 48.75. .4, that's 40%, because remember that is your 10th column. There is a 0 here. If ever you get a number like that and there's nothing after it, put a 0 there. Okay. 50%, that's 0.5, because you can also put a 0 there and make it 50, 0.50. Right, Dave runs 19 miles. Right, okay, so Dave runs 19 miles every day for 23 days. How far does he run? Well, we need to do 23 times 19 then, don't we? So 23 times 19. 9 times 3, 9, 18, 27. 2 times 9 is 18, 19, 20. There's a lot of long multiplication today. 3 times 1 is 3, 2 times 1 is 2. Add them up, 7. Oh, I've gone on the line. 3, 4. 437. So, that means he runs 437 miles. But that's only part of the question. The next bit, it took him 3 hours each day. How long did he run for? So, it took him 3 hours each day. So which bit of information do I need here? Do I need the 19 miles? Do I need the 23 days? Or do I need my 437 miles? That's the trick to this question. It took him 3 hours each day. How long did he run for? It's talking about the days, isn't it? So it doesn't matter, I've just found how many miles it took him. So it's 23 times 3. So he did 3 hours every day for 23 days. So now I just need 23 times 3. Oops, can't even see what I'm Yes, I just need 23 times 3. 3 times 2 is 9. 2 times 3 is 6. So he ran for 69 hours altogether. Okay, so he ran for 437 miles, and it took him 69 hours. Whew, a lot of running. The last one. At 10 AM, I'm just going to scribble some things down for myself here. 1,265 cars were in a car park. Throughout the day, 1,060 more arrived. Well, more means add-on, doesn't it? 1,060 more. So let's check how many we've got. 5, 12, 3, 2, right. So altogether we've got 2,325 cars. Okay. By 3 PM, a quarter of the cars have left. So a quarter left. Now remember, what we know our fractions, we know what these means. So the whole thing, this is our whole thing, this is the whole car park. Our whole thing, we now need to find we now need to find 1/4 of it. Okay? So we need 1/4 of this number. So we need to do exactly what I've just drawn. Divide it into 4. Divide that number into 4. So I'm going to do 2,325 divided by 4. 4's into 2 doesn't go. 4's into 23 does though. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. With 3 left over. 4's into 32. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. Ooh, boom, 32, 8. And then 4's into 5 is 1. And we'll carry our number on. There is a 0 after this number, it's a whole number with 1 left. 4's into 10 is 2 with 2 left over. I wasn't anticipating a decimal for this question. Oh, I should have done because it was odd. And then 4's into, there was 2 left over, 4's into 20 is 5. Right. So, a quarter of this number is 581.25. How many cars are now left in the car park? So, first of all, we're talking about cars here. You can't have 0.25 of a car, but it is over 1. So we're going to round this up to 582. Okay? You can't round it down because it's more than 581. So if 581 and a quarter cars have left, well then 582 are left, have gone. Okay? So, how many cars are now left in the car park? So that's the quarter. A quarter have left. So we're going to do 2,325 subtract 582. Because you cannot have 0.25 of a car. And this is another biggie in year 6. You're going to get lots of weird questions where you'll get an answer that's got a decimal. And it'll be things like people, cars, boxes. Okay? You need to use your common sense to think whether you round it up or down. Amount of seats. It really does depend on the context of the question. For this one, I'm rounding up. Because like I say, you can't have a quarter of a car. If a quarter of a car is gone, well then that's another car that has gone. 5 take away 2 is 3. 2 take away 8 can't do. So we'll steal from next door, make that. So 12 take away is 4. Oh, I can't do that one either. 12 take away 5. 7. 1 take away nothing is 1. So your answer, there are 1,743 cars left in the car park. Lovely. And good luck with your table and statistics for today as well. And well done guys, thank you.